The Plein Air Easton Podcast is brought to you by the Avalon Foundation, enriching the lives of those on the Eastern Shore of Maryland through the arts. Visit avalonfoundation.org for details on events, performances, and educational programming offered throughout the year. Today's episode is sponsored by JFM Enterprises, providing distinctive ready-made and custom frames and moldings to the trade since 1974. Visit jfm.net to view their catalog of designs.
Okay, so that was a lot better without the noise in your ears.
Was it?
Oh my God.
Thanks, guys. I mean, it's hard to recapture what I said the first time.
No. We were listening to this hum the whole time and trying to concentrate on what you were saying.
Sorry
so
about that. Wow.
It was really broken up.
Here I thought, that's why I wanted to do a test. But, these things, I don't know anything about those.
Well, consider
Anyway.
consider that first part our test.
Yeah.
You're right. It was a good test.
We won't let the audience know we recorded one before that.
No, you just softened me up for the blow.
We've been with Len all afternoon.
We finally got Len's interview after 4 hours.
Right. Can I go home now?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Plein Air Easton Podcast. I'm Tim Wagon with
Marie Nuttall.
Marie Nuttall. Marie. So we had a great guest today. Some guy we've seen around the...
Some guy.
A guy we've seen around, been around Easton for 13 times.
Yep.
And I would say when it comes to painting, he is a true artist and down to business. He really doesn't seem to do anything other than paint. He goes... I don't know, Bahama Mamas every once in a while. And
He's going to start fishing, though.
He's going to start to learn how to fish. This is a great interview and a very interesting one with our guest, Leonard Mizerek. Len, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you both for having me.
So, Len, are you still in Connecticut? Where are you these days?
No, I recently moved down to Vero Beach, Florida.
Vero Beach, Florida.
That's it. Just a little bit warmer. And
do you have a golf cart yet?
I heard on the weather report today that the weather here is boring. And I thought, what a great way to sum it up.
Right.
It's perfect all the time.
Is it perfect there all the time, really? Was 75 and sunny all the time?
Yep, 75 and sunny.
Where's Vero Beach?
Beautiful breeze, yeah.
Where's Vero Beach? Where is that one?
Len, it's actually 77 here today, so...
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Maybe I moved in the wrong place.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm packing right now. Sounds like you've got better weather right now.
Just today, and then it's all going to fall apart.
I got you. I know that, how quick that can go.
Yes, in Maryland, it could happen within the next 5 minutes, so you just never know.
Global warming has its good points.
For sure.
Where is Vero Beach? Where is it?
It's on the East Coast.
Past Jacksonville, after
south,
Miami?
South of, I would say closer to Stewart and St. Louis and that general area. I'm learning the map myself. I just, I-95 is all I know.
How long have you been there?
I have got a gallery down here that I've been visiting on seasonal openings and things of that sort for the last, I guess, 20 years. And so I knew the area. I was comfortable with it. And
You've
coming
been
down here
it, huh?
it wasn't such a huge leap for me. So I love it. Really nice.
Well, good. That congratulations on the move, and I hope.
Yeah.
And what's your wife's name? Your partner?
Carolyn.
She's with. For anybody
she does all the heavy lifting. So I paint with small brushes, and she does all the other stuff.
She guards all the equipment.
They call it the backstory.
Right, yeah.
That's what it takes.
She takes care of the books. She takes care of all your finances, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
I used to do all that stuff. You know, I mean, I had my own business for a number of years in New York City, but, you know, balancing the books, I didn't like it as much as painting. So,
what did you do in your New York City life, Len?
I actually, my first job there was with Esquire magazine. I was art director there for a while, and
no way.
Then when they sold out, I had a lot of friends in the business, and we all sort of joined together, and I started my own advertising firm, and did a lot of different things, from jewelry to travel and all different themes, which I like.
How come you got out of it?
Very cool. I did not know
Yeah.
that.
How come you got out of it?
Well, it's a young man's game.
Is that right?
Yeah. As soon as you get gray sideburns, you don't have any more ideas for young advertisers. So it makes a difference.
Who's your biggest client? Cartier?
Rolex watch was mine.
Yeah, it's usually
for a number of years. And I did the Israeli tourist board. I did Spain, commercial office of Spain, things like that. So it's pretty varied.
I guess there's just so much advertising out there. You could just, I mean, that seems like were you on Madison Avenue?
Well, I was for a while, but now I moved my offices around. I was on actually on Lexington Avenue, right next to Grand Central. So I literally could leave my office, go underground to get a train to go to Connecticut where I lived. So it was the best commute I could get.
That's cool.
Tell us about the segue into painting.
I want to hear real quick about the clubs you used to hang out at.
Oh, well, yeah. Let's hear about the clubs.
I always painted. So, you know, my goal was to paint full time. And as I mentioned, you know, I took it seriously and built on it, but I didn't want it to be something I had to do or make it a job. I wanted to enjoy it and have the freedom to paint what I wish. And that afforded me a living. So went out in my spare time, free time, travel time. I would take a month off in August and just go to Europe. And that's when I discovered a lot of the boat races and some of the beautiful sardine ships and ships from every town and every country would gather in places like Douarnenez, France. So I would follow them around and much like I do here when I'm up to Maine watching the schooner races and things of that sort, capturing them in harbors and different stages of mooring and sailing and moving and all that sort of thing, which still thrills me.
And were you married at that point? I mean, was Carolyn with you?
Yes. Yeah, she's the one that told me I had to travel and leave my... and you can always call the office. So that's what started that. And it worked out. You know, she's right. She said all the executives are on vacation anyway. So it worked out. She was in her own business, too. She was an interior designer and corporate. She did a lot of office space planning.
Yeah.
And that's why I can pack my car better than anybody, because I have guidance. You can get paintings to fit.
She's designing the space of your luggage.
She actually laid all my paintings out for my show down in Florida. We had to make a drive in my station wagon. And in New York City, we would lay it on the floor and measure it, make sure it all stacked the right way, and then do it in the car afterwards.
Good eyes. She's got good eyes. That's awesome.
So you guys had a plan. Your plan was to. Were you planning on staying in marketing and just painting on the weekends and go out for a month, like you said, or
no?
Or
my plan was to slowly, my paintings took off, and I had less and less marketing that I wanted to do, and so my friends were probably the last clients that I had, and I just said goodbye and painted full time.
Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of a lot of things were plein air, because I would go to Europe and I'd bring a roll of canvas with me, and I worked large at that point. So I would find cardboard and just tack it to the cardboard and do let's say the footnote of a painting. I'll get the sky colors, I'll get the general layout of what I want, and take notes, and then roll that up and bring it home with me and complete it, stretch it in my studio.
See,
but still capturing the essence of what I was doing there.
Every single interview I get, like, a light is shed on some other aspect of plein air painting that, like, just didn't even occur to me. Like him traveling to France for the summer, and he rolls his canvases up, because you think about it, you know, he doesn't want to carry all these frames, and I mean, I'm sure he has enough equipment as it is. Are you somebody that has, one of the artists that we talked to has like a studio like set up over there, so they would just show up and their things were there already?
Oh,
Anything?
I wish. No, I bring everything with me, and I learned to just, you know, bring as little paint as you can, but what you might use the most of, and just get it in there. And, you know, I call it the heavy paint when I get home. You know, the heavy whites and all, you really want to do that when it's stretched and it's primed and ready for the framing. And then I can really go at it. But I have everything there that I can complete the piece with. And it's a great joy. It's like revisiting where I was, you know, like old friends.
Right.
And I've gone a dozen times, sometimes to the same towns. You know, Honfleur is a beautiful place 90 miles outside of Paris. I paint in Paris as well. So it's a joy, it really is.
What do they think about your style when you get over to Paris, Lynn?
I did meet a few artists, but I always made sure to let them know I'm not selling them here. I'm bringing them home to the U.S. So you don't have to worry about the competition. But we do. You know, much like here, you know, we talk about our palettes and the way we work, and I enjoy them. They'll bring me into their studios in town, and we'll share a cognac or something, and it's enlightening. It really is. And I've even had boat captains invite me on board, take me out for sails, and you just get the feel of what you're doing, and the knowledge and the joy of sails on the water or something like that. It's exhilarating. Just love it.
You got a baguette guy?
A bad what?
A baguette guy.
No.
Long tube of bread.
Yeah,
not at all.
You don't get up in the morning, you get the cheese, and eat dinner at 11:30 at night, that sort of thing.
Wedge of brie.
I would go to the. I did a artist in residence once in a small town, Dinan, and I would get up first thing, break of dawn, and the baker of the baguettes would be making them, and there they come, fresh, 6 o'clock in the morning, ready to purchase for breakfast. And it was just great, you know. So, yeah, of course, the food is half the reason for going there.
That's right.
Right.
Not to mention the wine. We won't mention the wine. But.
And then you said, I think earlier, you said you went to VCU.
That's right.
Now, what is that? What are they? The VCU Retrievers or the Commanders? What are they? What's their nickname?
I don't know.
Dina,
the basketball team. I know they're all winners and everything, and I cheer them on.
The Rams, yeah, VCU Rams.
Oh, there you go, the Rams. I should know that.
Now,
you know, when I first went to VCU, it was called RPI. It was Richmond Professional Institute. So I know that dates me, but great school. It was filled with teachers who really were in the field and painted as well. They knew the art, and I learned a great deal from them. And you know, it got me started, and I always wanted to be involved in that aspect of art, and still doing it.
But you drew when you were a kid, that sort of thing. You drew,
yeah.
Like, you know, when you started out with the little kits, you said, or something like that, or Jiminy Cricket.
I always drew Jiminy Crickets, and you know, I got bitten by the bug to go to Maine because my cousin was my age.
How old were you when you got bitten by the bug to go to Maine?
I was about 11, I guess.
11?
Something like that. Yeah, my cousin and I, we have our parents drive us up there, and they would spend a couple of weeks in a cabin, and it was just great, just a joy. And it was my first lighthouse drawing, so there you go. Pemaquid Light.
Do you still have it?
No, I do have.
You
some
sold
sketches.
it, didn't you, Len?
To that guy who collects all his
You
paintings.
know what that's worth now?
Right. Right.
Whoever has it out there, turn it in.
Oh, it'll resurface.
Yeah,
I think.
hey, you get on this podcast, they'll find it.
Hey, I might find it at an auction, Len. If I do, I'll let you know.
Oh, please do. Bid on it. I'll take it. I'll do a lend-lease program. You get it 6 months, I get it the other.
Oh, there you go. That'd be fabulous.
Len drives a hard bargain, I'm telling you. Len, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back, everyone, with more from Len Mizerek in just 1 minute. Thanks.
The 18th annual Plein Air Easton Competition and Festival takes place July 15th through the 24th, 2022, when 58 of the top plein air artists of our time will spend 1 week in Easton, Maryland, competing for thousands of dollars in prizes. Immerse yourself in a week of art exhibits, receptions, free demos, and panel discussions. Purchase exceptional and brand new art for that blank wall. Come for the art and make your summer memories at Plein Air Easton. The full event schedule can be found online at pleinaireaston.com.
I still want to go back to the palette piece.
Okay, go back to
yeah, we can do the palette deal.
Yeah, tell us about the palettes.
Well, the palettes vary a great deal between artists, and even though we all have our basics, we all have our reds and yellows and blues, and know what to do with them. Some do limited palettes, some don't. And I'm one of those that doesn't. It's mostly laziness. For instance, I'll have 3 greens, which is a no-no. And I don't tell too many people. And then I'll have what is known as an exciting color, something like radiant violet. I'll add, not all the time, but it's sort of a moving target. And I get that from watching how other artists palettes and how they use them. And I'll be painting next to them, and we have open discussions about it all the time. It's great. It's really big help.
So do you have a signature, like there are certain artists that come to mind if you say like a signature green or like a red that peeps out from underneath an underpainting or...
Well, I do tone my canvas. I call it killing the white because when you're outdoors, the sun just so bright, even the reflected light that I want to start with a medium tone, usually burnt sienna or something like that, or sometimes I jazz it up and use a cadmium green, just jazz it up. Because what it does is it changes how you view what you're painting. For instance, if you got a lot of heavy green, you're going to add more warmth and more reds as you're doing it. It's subliminal almost in the way you work. So I like that. I have canvases all stained in all different colors. And I'll bring a slew of them when I come to Plein Air Easton. And I'll look at them and I'll say, well, this is kind of a moody mood, a softer starting point. And then this will be a jazzy one. So, never forget at the end, put all the highlights in, all the fireworks in at the end. So it's kind of good start for me.
Yeah, it's the interesting way you guys work and how you start. Everybody has a different way, but it's all kind of doing the same thing.
I know it's bizarre to watch because it always comes out. It's so different. Everyone has their strong identity in their work, and to see how they interpret it. Charlie Hunter comes to mind. How he painted next to me last time, and he has a completely different vision of the same thing, and I like that. Right. I like seeing the juxtaposition of how an artist perceives their work or that scene.
Right. Going back to the palettes.
Yeah.
One of the we take pictures for these festivals and all kinds of things like every year, and just looking at the palettes when they bring the pictures back is really one of the most interesting. It's so I could stare at a painting of a palette that you guys have, even with the for hours, and never get bored by just what is going on, all the colors, all of the
it seems
the
out
peaks
of control.
And valleys of the paint. It's really interesting.
It seems out of control sometimes when I see, globber, and then they'll paint something, and I'll look at it, and it's all globby and everything. I go, boy, that's messy good, you know. It's just a different technique, application, or how they do it. And I believe they know their palette. They know what color is where, and they feel comfortable going for it. And as they work, you know, I see like Jill Basham, her work has a lot of impasto and heavy paint on it. And it's a great thing to watch. I had a lighter touch.
Well, yeah, but you paint. I mean, you're certainly, it's pretty thick, right? I mean, it's not.
Well, yeah, I use Michael Harding handmade paints, which I found have a lot of pigment in them, less medium, less. You know, they're more bulk, and just getting your brushstroke right, you can see the application of the paint. I like that. It gives a tactile volume quality to what you have on the canvas, and you don't have to paint it twice, which is what I like. That's one of the reasons I'm in oil versus watercolor, for instance, because I like that tactile feeling of the paint on the surface. And I've gone through a lot of surfaces too. I mean, you know, that's something you just get comfortable with as well. You know, how you prep it, what tooth of canvas or linen. I use portrait linen oftentimes, especially in competition, because you don't want to. Do
you go through phases with that stuff? Do you like?
You do. You do. I've got them. Yeah, I've got them stacked here in my studio. I'll just grab. Sometimes I trade with other artists if I like a more nubby kind of effect or whatever.
What's a nubby kind of effect?
I know, what is
a nubby effect is like a canvas that's raw. You know, it's got a lot of texture on it already. And then when you paint, your brush skips over a lot of areas. Now, if you're doing shimmering light on water, fine. I can use it for that. But generally, I don't like it because I'm doing rigging or something on or a mast, and it's going to skip. I don't want to do that mast once. I don't want to paint it 3-4 times to get the same effect. So it's a personal thing that you learn by doing.
So your preference is mostly canvas that is like a cloth type or linen type, and as opposed to, like, have you ever worked with boards?
Oh yeah. Well, my boards are linen mounted on boards prepared by a company, and so I'm using the same thing. And on the smaller ones, it's great because it doesn't backlight. So if I paint against the sun oftentimes, and with a canvas stretched, you have to put a newspaper or cardboard or something behind it so you don't get that show through. So a panel is very quick, easy, nice, and you know, I have them already done for me. And as I mentioned earlier, I tone them down, and I'll pick one that I like, and bam. There you go. So
you paint against the sun. I haven't heard that term before. What do you block?
Yeah, I like doing that.
That means what? You block the sun out?
Yeah. You use umbrellas. Use different things. I've used cardboard laying on the ground. I use FedEx containers clipped to my easel, whatever it takes, because I like the long shadows. I like the feeling and the warmth coming at me, and then I focus on the tones and the subtleties and the shadows and the edge lighting or things like that, which adds a great deal of interest. And you can get the same effect oftentimes in an early morning painting as versus a later setting sun effect, because your light is coming in the same basic direction, low in the horizon, and then you go for it.
When do you know to scrap the painting?
Quit.
Not quit.
When another artist tells me to stop, don't go any further, you're going to ruin it. But no, not really.
But when you say I can't do this,
can't turn it around.
I'm scraping this painting out. When do you know? Do you ever do that, Len? Or do you just keep trying to go to it and get it?
No. Generally, when you start a painting, you better know where you're heading, because it's going to be disaster. You're just going to add to the disaster as you go forward, whether it be a bad composition, a bad start. So you really want to get, I call it the bones straight in the painting. And usually you can do that. A lot of people do sketches and all beforehand. I do what is known as paint on the canvas. I'll draw on the canvas with one color and work out my composition at that point, and either it works or it doesn't. And if I go halfway and keep going, that's when I start scraping, because it's not going to get better.
Right. Gotcha. I know we were talking, we were saying you didn't scrape out a whole lot. So I wanted
No.
Well,
Len, can I go back to the painting in France and Europe?
Sure. Yeah.
Did you paint with any groups when you were over there? Was there like
I did. I
painting?
painted with other French artists, actually. I found out, because I was staying there a while, that they had a local French group that was painting in the harbor, and all were invited. So they were kind of surprised I didn't know the language, and I was signing up. So it was just a lot of fun.
There you go.
It almost seemed, the whole town just came out and supported us, much like Easton does.
What's the name of the town, Len?
It's Seurat. It's the next town from Saint-Malo, but I'll get that to you.
So let me ask you this question about your French artist colleagues. Do you feel like as a group they paint French versus paint American? Like, we just got off the phone with a UK artist who said that after he spends some time here, he goes home and his friends are like, "You're painting like an American." Like, like the palette is different where he is from, so they can definitely tell that he's been outside of.
Yeah. You can tell.
Is that true?
And it is. It's an influence, I think, that happens. I find that most of the French artists are more semi-abstract. They'll heighten their colors, intensify it, almost poster-like, which isn't something I desire, but I like a little more realistic, impressionist kind of direction. But they get fascinated by my work. I mean, we'll compare notes, and they really enjoyed the variety and the difference.
Now, I can imagine
that's kinda cool.
You might even be coming across that even in different parts of the United States, like in Florida. I mean, not only that the subject matter is different, but do they start to get some of that like Caribbean influence and real vibrant? And
I think the biggest difference is I call it the island effect. It's the color of the water is like that elusive turquoisey, beautiful, deep colors that is reality. But it's like painting a sunset. If you put too much color in, nobody's going to believe you.
Right.
So, it really didn't look like that. No, it did. But that, has to be tempered, I think, painting that will read properly. So I'm always doing that. Water's different internationally. It's, in your New England deep, dark blue waters, it's much different than your shallow areas down here with sand beneath that's lightening that water up.
Right.
So I like that change up, but again, I'm learning. Everything like palm trees, everything's a little different, and I'm studying them. It's great. It's like going back to school again.
You still young at heart, Len?
Yes. Yeah, I try to be. And I think that keeps it fresh and keeps the exploration. I like joining plein air groups for that reason.
And what do you do for fun, Len?
Let me see. I think the Bahama Mama.
Who is that? Who is that, Len?
Bahama Mama is a great little tiki bar, very near in Sebastian, a town next to Vero Beach, and just a great place to hang out. And I am working because I'm looking out on a beautiful island and studying boats that sail by. So it's not like it's not a regular.
You're able to write that drink off.
Yeah. Do you have a beach cart yet, Len? Like, I hear that's a big thing. No,
not yet. I know.
We'll have to hook you up.
I just bought a fishing pole at a tag sale. So
and it starts.
Okay, it's leaning against the wall. I'm definitely going to take it up. So we'll see. I checked with the locals on that. What hook and what bait.
That's right.
Yeah. That sounds like a good time.
Yes, indeed. I eat my fish, even though some people are against that, because it's a lot of work if you get one.
Well, are you talking about surf fishing, that sort of thing?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, watch out for the tides down there. They get some pretty nasty tides down there with it.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
it's
be
rough.
careful.
It's well, I grew up near Rehoboth Beach, so I equate the ocean down here much like that. We're on the East Coast, and the waves in the ocean and the colors are just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a lot of new information that I'm going to project and put on canvas. So
And real quickly, I didn't know this, but where did you grow up near Rehoboth?
I grew up in Delaware in Wilmington.
Oh, Wilmington.
And-
Okay, yeah.
Yep. And which is the Wyeth influence. N.C. Wyeth's one of my heroes. You know, I used to go to the museum and watch his work all the time, and Treasure Island. And what I loved about was his use of light. That's really what I'm building on and hope to achieve at some point, where the light becomes the story.
Right. Well, I think that's you certainly do a good job of
Thank you, Tim.
job working at that here, because people have enjoyed your paintings over the years here. I think Marie said you've been here 13 times,
Yes.
which is a lot.
Pretty amazing.
And your wife Carolyn as well.
Yes.
She is sort of iconic, one of the iconic partners that travel with some of the painters that come here to Easton.
She's the backup
It's a package deal.
And a good one.
That's right. That's right. So when I talked to you, I think it was last year, Len, it was certainly, kind of more in the thick of the pandemic. And
Yes.
Carol was saying that that year was kind of one of your best years.
Yeah.
As far as sales go, I guess.
Yeah, it was very surprising. I think we attribute that to people being at home and trying to find things to do, and they're staring at their walls, I'm sure, being there for such a long period. And we found that I think we spread the joy, basically, where people focused on that and bought some larger pieces, which is always a joy. And it was a different time, kind of a mix. It's a sad time, but yet if we can give a little bit of joy and color to somebody, it made us feel good too. So
yeah, I can imagine so.
It was a nice dichotomy of issues. So.
Did you take any of the online educational things during it, or is that not your bag?
No, I don't do that. I learned from, artists that my mentor, Don Stone from the Rockport Art Association. I did go to the Art Students League, and, it was more with Ray Kinsler and Max Ginsberg. These were a lot of study classes where you train your eye, basically. You learn value, you learn mostly figurative, but it does train you that when you do go in the field, you have that as your ammunition to really put it together.
What's an example of that, Len? What's an example that you took during the pandemic to train your eye better?
Form is probably the biggest example. You like the subject.
But for you particularly, what changed? What did you learn out of those things? Having done this for so long, what did you learn?
I learned how to mix unusual colors and tones, and I learned the color wheel, I think, a lot more scholastically than I attributed before to my work. So it was academia that really brought me forward. I mix differently now in more of a systematic way. For instance, you need to get a mid-tone, let's say 2 complements, and you want to get to a certain gray color in the middle. So there's a method to that. You drag your brush in certain directions and mix a certain way, so that you end up not with mud, but you end up with a tone that you achieve. And and also measurements. I find even when I paint a sailboat, I'll use my brush and to measure the height and the width, so I get it more accurately when it's under sail, because you got fleeting moments oftentimes. As a boat passes, they always move every time I start painting one. So, I've even wanted to pay the sailor just to stay put. Never works. But No, the measurements was a big aspect for and a big achievement of my accuracy of my work. I think it helped a great deal.
So will that will just speed you up this year when you're painting, or will it change the look of your paintings at all?
I hope it does, because time's of the essence. You get basically 2.5 hours, and then your sun is gone. If you don't come back the next day, you're done for if it rains. So, it's like I said, being an art director, you have to make decisions, follow them through, and complete as best you can what you have. And in like a quick draw, in 2 hours, you hang it up and take the punch. It is what it is.
That's right.
That's the fun part. That's the fun and really beautiful part about it, because thousands of people walk down that street and are like, my goodness, I cannot believe anybody painted. All of these people painted these beautiful images in 2 hours or less. It's really wonderful.
It's true. It is amazing.
So
I love it.
That's a fun part. It may not be as fulfilling for some of the artists, but it certainly is for the crowd for sure.
Well, my favorite part of that whole scene too is the people that just stumble upon it. Like not even the people that plan, but like, what is going on here?
That's right.
And there are a bunch of people painted on the street, and like, oh, okay, and they're like.
Yeah.
Tell me.
And they're looking for lunch. I ain't gonna find lunch because we're all on the street.
Right.
We got some great stuff to look at. That's for sure.
Len, we're coming to the end of this interview.
Yeah, Tim.
Marie might have a couple more questions for you, but I know we've got a rapid fire. Have you heard our rapid fire?
No.
Oh, you have. This is what it sounds like.
Oh,
it doesn't sound like that.
What comes to mind?
Yes,
right?
exactly. First thing that comes to mind. Okay, Len, what about, tell me about your favorite concert that you attended.
Oh, goodness. Elton John.
What about it?
What?
It was the loudest, but I think he's the most creative singer of its day, of his time.
When did you see him?
When I was young. I saw him in Philadelphia. It was a live concert.
Philadelphia Freedom.
I know. I guess I was, absolutely. I went with a friend during late high school, maybe early college time.
Nice.
That was cool.
Nice.
I mean, I saw Black Sabbath too, so I'm not.
Okay, all right. Hey, you get.
That's a nice spectrum.
I love them too.
Elton, he's got some street cred there for you, all you Black Sabbath fans. And he didn't mean to call Elton John fans square either.
I know.
Okay, so we're going to go down the list, even though some of these lead to little mini conversations. But tell me what the most boring thing is ever to you.
Boring thing ever is listening.
Tim likes this question.
Doing a Zoom board meeting is probably the most boring thing. Especially when there's an echo in the room.
Or a buzzing in the speaker.
or a buzzing.
I think Plein Air Podcast was like closest, pretty next. He's coming.
He was like,
I can't say podcast. Let me say Zoom call. Dark
milk or white chocolate, which is not really chocolate, but
dark milk.
Dark chocolate,
Hershey,
milk chocolate, or now you have to tag Hershey's.
Not Godiva, but I love Hershey's. The darker, the better.
Dark milk.
All right. Dark chocolate.
She meant to say dark milk or white is what you meant to say, right?
Yes.
Right, not dark milk.
Oh, okay. I put them together.
I did too.
Dark chocolate?
I still like dark milk.
I was like, what is dark milk?
What is this new phenomenon I need in my life?
Welcome to Florida where we got dark milk.
We're gonna be premiering it through Rise Up this year. there's another
free
one.
samples.
Dark milk.
Straight through coffee grains.
Where is your next? I know you've moved, and the thought of actually traveling right now is probably a little remote. But where's your next top travel destination on your bucket list?
Probably Marblehead in Rhode Island. They're going to have a gathering of artists up there, so it's a bit of a trip for me, especially what gas is. But I want to meet my old friends again. I missed them over COVID. And it'll be a great gathering and great fun. It's it's a joy. No pressure kind of gathering. So look forward to that.
Is everything you do art, Len? Everything you do?
Everything you eat, Tim. You eat it. You live it. It's part of your life.
I understand. I understand.
That way. I'm that way. People don't understand. It's the way you exist. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, we're in the art world. So we do same thing here at the Avalon Theater. We extend ourselves in a couple different ways. But I mean, do you do anything outside of it?
I fish.
You just got a pole yesterday.
I will be a fisherman.
I don't repair my car anymore, but I used to. I mean, we look for just fun. Went to a
Bahama Mamas. I got
flea
Bahama
market. Yeah, I mean, we just enjoy the moment when we're together, and we're pinching ourselves, feel like we're on vacation.
That's
all
awesome.
The time.
That's great.
And we share a lot of good times. So and travel is really my premier thing. I'm dying to go. So we're getting closer. I'm ready to go back to France and Italy and whatever. So they're great places to be.
Well, that's what brought me to the question. When she said, where's your next travel? You said you're going to go to Marblehead to an art convention or whatever, which is why I asked.
Like bucket list travel. Len, bucket list travel, like big, think big.
Oh, I don't know what's big. What is big? I've been a lot of places. I've been all over the world, really. I mean, Thailand and China. I've been in Hong Kong and, and I painted in all these places. I did the floating market, in Thailand, and
I wish I could have seen that. I would have loved
amazing,
for that.
Just amazing stuff. And I had a cab driver that took us there, about an hour trip outside of the city, and he wanted to leave. Mister, we must leave. And I said, here's $10 American. Can we stay till my painting's done? And he said, yeah. So,
he did?
It was good. And you get a crowd, I love people who watch me paint, especially the children. And that happens a lot, and I'll let them talk while I'm painting, or I'll talk, give them some advice while I'm leaving that seagull out of the painting. I often get, and why'd you move it left and right, and this and that. So you kind of tell them all those things.
What is the weirdest experience you've ever had while you've been set up painting?
Weirdest was I was at a painting festival, art boat festival, almost being knocked into the water. But what happened was the wind took my painting and blew it into the water. And I had a French fisherman. You could see the painting underwater in shallow water, and he actually fished it out for me. Luckily, it was oil. And I rinsed it off and thanked him, gave him a little reward, and off we went. But that was really a bizarre day. It was great.
You sold the painting for $10,000.
Yeah.
I gave it to Bansky, and he's had it. He sold it for Tim.
Nature's DNA.
There you go.
Well, Len, I'm glad we got the buzz out of the line to give you a proper interview. It's been very enjoyable talking to you today. We look forward to you coming back this year, I guess, right?
Looking forward to it. Great seeing you both. I can't wait to come down again or up. Now,
you're coming up now.
I'm coming up, and look forward to it.
Len, thanks a lot for being our guest today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Take care, Len.
The Plein Air Easton Podcast is brought to you by the Avalon Foundation and was produced by Nick Richards. Our theme music was generously provided by Blue Dot Sessions, with additional episode music by Scott Gratton. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. You can learn more about Plein Air Easton at pleinaireaston.com.